Welcome to the Behind the Bar podcast. Today I'm joined by Claire, who was our Hospitality Apprentice of the Year for Operations. If you just want to introduce yourself.
Hello, my name's Claire. I'm from Kent and I currently work for Shepherd Neame Brewery. And I run the customer service team.
If you could just explain to me what the operations department does. What do you do exactly at Shepherd Neame?
Okay, so the customer service team, we deal with everything to do with the estate, pub estate. So that can be all of our hotels that we manage, from free trade customers, that's people that are not assigned to us. Mm-hmm. And we deal with all the ordering and the problems that they may have. So quite a vast range of things that we deal with. And we also deal with all the beer into the supermarkets.
Okay, so have you always been in hospitality, or was this your first role?
No, so I'm obviously in my 50s. So I did 21 years at the job centre.
Oh, nice.
So
very different.
Yeah, very, very different. It's a complete culture shock. So when I left there, I was looking for a job, and Shepherd Neame is very local to where I live, and joined there. So for about 12 years, I've been with Shepherd Neame.
So how did you find the shift between the job centre and Shepherd Neame?
It's quite strange, actually, because when you work for the government, it's a lot of pressure, a lot of
I can imagine.
Pressure. So everything's about figures and trying to get the targets that they require of you. So when I first went to Shepherd Neame, it's quite a culture shock, in the fact is that although it is still important, you don't feel so much pressure. You haven't got people that are worried that they're not hitting their targets or helping people. So it was quite a nice culture shock, actually. It's quite relaxed. And Shepherd Neame have always been very good at being like a family. So they make sure that you're all welcome and feel good about working there. So,
So tell me a little bit about why you started an apprenticeship, because obviously you've been working for a while and people would assume apprenticeship is more at the beginning of your career. Why did you take an apprenticeship?
So I'm always wanting to learn, and I've always wanted to do a degree. Life got in the way and I never accomplished it. So throughout my career with Shepherd Neame, I have done other training. Yeah. So I've done a wines and spirits course. And then when we had somebody that was employed to be our apprenticeship lead, and he obviously sold it to me. And then I thought, this is the perfect opportunity, because what it does is it gives you the opportunity to carry on working, but actually aids what you do for your work. So it's not something that's completely alien. Yeah. So it was just literally everything sort of lined up. He started, I put in to ask if I could do it, and was accepted. So it was just very fortuitous that he was there. But the reason why I did it is to improve myself. So like everyone else, you want to be better at what you do. Yeah. And I do strive to always be the best I can at my job, and this was the way to do that. So.
And what was was it level 5 you did?
Yeah, I did level 5.
What was the title of the course?
So it's Operations and Leadership. So.
And what was the focus of that apprenticeship?
So it is basically to make you look at yourself and how you manage your team and how you deal with people externally. So it's all sorts of things. Mainly it is to look at how you learn and how you pass on the information to other people. So it was all about emotional intelligence, which is quite a difficult thing when you're new to anything. Yeah. So that's the main part. And to make sure that you are the best leadership that you can be. So.
How did you find the first few months of your apprenticeship? Was it
really difficult?
Yeah,
really difficult. As I said, obviously in my application for the award, I've had no formal education since 1993. You mostly wasn't even born in 1993.
Probably wasn't,
no. So not been to college or anything. So to start it was all very nerve-wracking. And the thing with apprenticeship is, even though you do it as a hospitality apprenticeship, you meet other people. So it's not just from hospitality. The course is thrown out, and so you meet lots of different people from different courses and different lives, so it's quite nice. But it's always fearful that you're going to go there and not be able to do it. And it's quite scary. When you've done no education and you've done no formal writing or anything like that, to be thrown headfirst into a level 5, it was quite difficult to start with,
How did you get over that?
It's just perseverance. Obviously, my daughter helped, and the people at work helped, because it is all about taking a step back and looking at what you can do well, and then improving what you can't. So academic writing is something that I've never done.
Yeah.
And what a strange thing that is.
It is very strange.
Yeah, because obviously my problem is I'm quite conversational with everything I write, because when you're doing the job, you want to make people feel at ease. So going from conversational to academic is quite a big jump. And that's most probably the hardest thing I found, because every day you've got to swap it out. So you've got to do academic writing for the course and then switch back to being the customer service manager and trying to get everybody on side. So
yeah. And so have you completed the
So I've done level
now?
5. I'm now halfway through level 6.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, not stuck on my laurels, just carried on.
How are you finding the jump between level 5 and 6?
It's quite a big jump, actually, because although level 5 had some academic writing, the level 6 is all academic writing, so it's all assignments. So it's just like a degree course.
Yeah.
You do a module, you're expected to do an assignment at the end, you're scored, and that will go towards your end score. But like the level 5, you've got an endpoint assessment, and also you've got a project that you've got to present. So, yeah.
Still enjoying it, though?
Yes. Actually, I'm most probably enjoying this more than I did the level 5, because, again, the group that I'm working with, it's much more structured, and this one is with a university. So I work with Arden University, and actually the people that I'm on the course with, it's so varied. We've got people from the NHS, we've got people from Virgin Atlantic, we've got somebody from Marston, so lots of different people. And actually what it's also good at, not just the qualification, but you learn to do best practices with each other.
Yeah.
So what they're finding best in their job can sometimes help what you're doing in your job. So, and they're quite a close-knit group, and we share stories and advice. So, yeah.
That's interesting, because a lot of apprentices that we have spoken to, it's mostly like front of house apprentice, kitchen apprentice. So they're very much in their own world.
Yes.
They're talking to other chefs, other front of house managers. But to hear you mixing industries, it brings another perspective, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, because I'm not saying it's wrong that you are just in hospitality and that's the course that you learn, but that's not always the best way of doing things.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem with quite a lot of people, that they get stuck in the ways that they think this is the way to do it, when there are other opportunities that I can learn from and take on board and how to do it. So yeah, actually it opens your eyes up to, actually that's the best way of doing that. And actually if you're leading the team that way and it's succeeding, I can't see the problem with putting it on in the hospitality world as well.
So you were saying level 5, and I assume level 6 is still looking at how you approach things and looking at yourself first. What have you seen has changed for yourself?
For me, the hardest thing that I did in level 5 was the emotional intelligence. When you have to hold the mirror up to yourself and see how you're behaving at work and how that behaviour impacts on other people. To give you an example, when I first started this role, so I worked as a customer service advisor first and then was promoted within.
Yeah.
I wanted to do everything. I wanted to do every job. I thought it was, if I didn't do it, it wouldn't be done correctly.
Yeah.
So you become quite controlling and make sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. And this course has actually made me look at myself and actually give my team a bit more freedom and the opportunity to expand their selves. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that when you look at yourself, it's very hard to self-critique, but actually when you have to do it for a course, it is quite scary when you've got to put it on paper what you think. And you do all these tests, you do like an emotional test, you do a leadership test, and it sometimes doesn't come out with a very nice picture at the end. So it's all about changing that to accommodate your team and make them a better team.
Yeah.
So,
have you heard from your team back at Shepherd Neame? Have they fed back and said there's a change that you've gone through?
Definitely changed. And part of my application was one of my team members saying how much nicer it is to work there now, because I give them the freedom. So delegation was part of the qualification as well, and learning how to delegate and give them the opportunity to grow as well. It's made us a better team all round. So, and I've got one lady that's doing her level 3 apprenticeship. I've got another lady that's doing a wines and spirits course. And although the other lady wanted to do an apprenticeship, life got in the way at the minute, so she might go back to it. So it's like a catalogue of events that's made everybody think, actually, we don't just have to sit here and do our job. We can make our work better and expand how we do it.
And now the whole team's just doing
Yeah,
apprenticeships.
yeah. So yeah, but or learning, just learning
Yeah.
in some form, because we're all sort of that age that you think, obviously, quite a lot of people think, oh, actually, it's time to give up. But I'm a great believer in not. You can learn every day. So actually, if it's going to make your life more fulfilled, we should all do it. And I've always encouraged them to do whatever opportunity we have. So, yeah.
That's great. So instead of becoming stagnant,
Yeah.
you're still improving, even though
Yeah, and
it's been
it
however
makes
many
life
years.
better. It makes our whole working day better, because we're given opportunities to look at different ways of working. And this apprenticeship has opened my eyes to lots of things, obviously with the BII and the awards and all the people contacting me through this.
Yeah.
That's opened my eyes, and that's a new thing. With work, I've become more involved in other teams and helping them, especially the equality and diversity groups that we've got going. And it has opened all those doors. Without the apprenticeship, I would have just sat at my desk doing my job, going home. So it has opened lots of doors and made me realise that actually you can do other things at work. You don't just have to do your job. So,
Speaking about the award, when did you hear about it? Why did you decide to put your name forward?
well, I didn't put my name forward.
You were forced into
I was
the award.
forced, yes, that's what it was. No, so I was contacted by our apprenticeship lead saying that we've looked at it and would like to put you forward. So I said, yeah, if you have to. And then obviously didn't realise that there were other things that you had to do for it. Namely, you had to do the application where you have to sell yourself. And it's always hard. And I don't care who you are, it's always hard to sell yourself and make you sound really great. Because on paper, you could be the best person ever, couldn't you, really? That's the thing. It's getting that right on paper. So I said yes. And then I obviously thought nothing more of it. I thought, okay, I've just got no hope at all. And then obviously when I got to the panel, I had to do that, and that was I quite enjoyed the panel, actually. I made my presentation slightly funnier, trying to be like funny, using my age and things like that. So that was quite nice. And actually the panel was most probably the easiest bit out of all of it, to be quite honest with you. And then obviously, again, you do the panel and you think, okay, there's other people, and you know who else is going for the award, and you think you've got no hope. But yeah, obviously I did have hope, and the three ladies that did my panel quite liked what I said and thought I'd actually done quite a good job at my apprenticeship. So yeah.
How did you find the night? Were you nervous?
No, because I didn't think I'd won. So it was just about enjoying
You're going to
myself.
enjoy it, and that'll be it.
And actually, what happened was the person that was on my apprenticeship course with me from Shepherd Neame was also nominated and also got through the final. So we just sat there thinking that we'd got no hope. So we just enjoyed ourselves. We enjoyed the free drink, the food. Yeah.
So how was it when your name was called?
Yeah, I didn't believe it. I did swear, and there is a video of me that's screaming like a banshee, and I sound like a banshee. So yeah, it was. Very, very, very nice, and it makes you feel very good that you've been appreciated, and actually people have seen that you've come from one place and got to another and improved. So yeah, and the team at Shepherd Neame have been phenomenal, and they said they had no doubt. I took the one that was nominated as well, Chris. I took him up on the stage, and all the videos you can see that I've got this man standing next to me on all of them, because I dragged him everywhere, because actually it's made me a friend out of him, because actually we would have never crossed paths.
Yeah.
We would have never done anything together. And we often speak or communicate by WhatsApp and just say, how are you doing? And he's jumped he's missed level 6 and he's gone to level 7. So it's quite a big jump. And I think he's finding that very, very, very difficult, because it's a lot more pressure and it's so condensed. You've got to do it in quite a quick time. So, yeah. So he often speaks to me and we have a laugh, but yeah.
It's amazing. So what would your advice be to someone who is thinking about putting their name forward for Hospitality of the Year?
Do it.
Do it, yeah.
Yeah, it's even if you don't win, it still does open doors to you, because I was lucky enough to go to a BII event last summer, and to be quite honest with you, in the position that I'm in, we don't have a lot to do with the BII, because we are so focused on the customer service aspect, it doesn't come into it. So I went to
the summer event.
Yes, so I was invited to the summer event and went and thought, actually, this is good, because it's like everything. Everyone wants to be praised for what they do. So when you get an award, it's sort of like justifying what you've done, and it gives you like, okay, well, actually, they've appreciated that. I can go on and do something else. And it's just a stepping stone. Like at the awards that I was at, a couple that come with us is the Shepherd Neame tenant. They won the Sustainability Award.
Yeah.
And they've only been in the pub 6 months. So actually, that's given them the emphasis to do other stuff. They've got a grant for other stuff now because of this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would say always put your name forward, because even if you don't win,
What's there to lose?
There is nothing to lose. And actually, you can open other doors and show that there is more than that little office that you work in.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important thing. Everybody, whatever role you're in, you do become quite isolated in the role that you do, because you've got to do your day's work.
Yeah.
So when you go in, you do your day's work and you go home. But actually, it's quite nice to see different aspects of everything. So, yeah, definitely, I would say, if you just put your name forward, you've got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing to lose.
Taking it back to the apprenticeship, how did you get any feedback from people in your life outside of work when you told them, oh, I'm doing an apprenticeship? Did they think it was a bit weird, or where they were like, no, this is definitely right, it makes sense for her to do an apprenticeship? What were people's reactions?
Well, first of all, they said, "Well, how are you doing an apprenticeship?" Because obviously, being old, you think, "Oh, okay." Because as you said, most people think apprenticeships are for young people, and it's a way to get into an industry.
Yeah.
And I'd heard nothing I had nothing about apprenticeship until, as I said, my lead. A lot of people, my daughter, my son, my husband, all encouraged me. But they didn't know what it was. They didn't know what that was. What is an apprenticeship? What will you get out of it at the end? So that's the thing. It's because they think, oh, actually, you're doing an apprenticeship to get a job, but you're already in a job.
Yeah.
So it's trying to explain to people, actually, it's not. It's just to improve yourself and to make sure that you're working the best you can. So actually, yeah, not a lot of negative feedback. So
Well, that's great. Obviously, you're doing level 6 at the moment. When are you finishing level 6?
I'm halfway through, so next year.
Next year.
So because I've done a level 5, you only have to do 2 years of the level 6 course.
Okay.
So it's because normally people start at level 5, do the first year as level 5, and then do 2 and 3 as level 6.
Right.
So I've just come in at level 6, which is the second year. So I've got till May to this year, and then I've got the year for the project. So, yeah.
And what's your project? Do you know?
We don't know yet. Actually, I was speaking to somebody yesterday and thinking about a podcast, actually, trying to get a podcast started up at Shepherd Neame.
Well, now you've got
experience. Yeah. No, because we just think that Shepherd Neame has got quite a lot of information to give, like historically. Obviously, as you know, it's the oldest brewer. But there's nowhere out there other than our social media, and it'd be quite nice to speak to different people and get their aspects. So, yeah, that might be something that I may perhaps not lead, but be involved in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a thought.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So you've got your project next year. What are your plans moving forward? Are you going to do level 7?
No,
or are you going to stop there?
Unfortunately, because of the funding for the government, you can't do a level 7 if you're over 22, which is slightly bizarre that they've suddenly impacted that, because what it was is that they want to get people back into apprenticeships that are younger. So instead of going to university, they're trying to encourage people. So if you're over 22, you've got no funding. That stops this January. So I won't be doing a level 7, although I don't think I would have the capacity to do it. But most probably just carry on with trying to encourage other people to do it. Possibly, working with Shepherd Neame to encourage other people.
Being kind of like a mentor to other people.
And that's it. I've already been asked to do some interviews to show what you can do. I've given my name out, so if somebody is thinking of doing a level 5 or 6, they can come to me and I'll tell them what it's about, how you do it. So yeah, that's the plan. And possibly just, maybe perhaps look at other forms of training, just so I can carry on learning.
That's great. I think it also helps being a mentor in the sense of you've gone through it yourself, and looking up to someone who's gone through the same thing helps push you to go into a level 5, 6 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Why do you think doing an apprenticeship as an experienced professional is just as important as doing it when you're young and you're just heading into your career?
I think it's mostly more important, really. When you start your career, you don't know a lot about anything. So you go in there with an open mind and you learn at that point and you carry on. If you're a seasoned professional and you've been doing the role for quite a few years, like everyone, you get stuck in your routine. So you're not open to new ideas because you don't think they're going to work.
Yeah.
Change is something that most people don't like. They like to just stay in the same work all the time. So actually, what it does is, as I said, it throws the light over what you're doing. And actually, if there are ways to improve it, that changes. Everything changes. So best ways of doing things will always change. It's never going to be what's good today is not always going to be what's good for tomorrow. Hospitality is changing. The way that we work, the way that the people perceive how we do things. You know, people are more, from the time that I was young, people are now more coffee drinkers. So you've got that aspect of hospitality. People don't go out for a pint. They want to go out for a dinner and spend their money on something. What we've noticed is that people go out less often but spend more money when they're out for that one occasion. So how do we capture that market? And if we're still stuck in the way that we think that people are going to the pub for a daily pint, we're never going to capture it. And how are we going to present our customer services to our tenants, to our managers, if we're not moving forward, if we're not learning how to best manage the changes in society? So I think actually, I think personally it would most probably benefit all of senior management just to do like a refresher course. If they offered like a small apprenticeship course that you didn't get any qualification out of, but you just sat and actually looked at the best practices that are on the market now, people would move forward. Everybody gets stuck in their ways. And I think that's the main problem with all of us. We think what we're doing is best because we've done it for so often.
Yeah.
Instead of looking, actually, we could change things and do it slightly better and it improve everybody's life. So I think it's, if I'm honest, I think an apprenticeship benefits a seasonal professional much more than it does a young person.
That's a great way to put it. One thing about your role, because you're not, a stereotypical pub workers, and you're not behind the bar, you're not in the kitchen, but you're still in the hospitality industry. You still very much know what's going on in the sector. It's interesting to hear your experience of all the different avenues that the hospitality industry could be. You're in an office, but you're still working hospitality. Have you seen people move from being on the pub floor to perhaps being head office or in operations? Is there a big shift between the two, do you think?
Yeah, there are some people that start behind the bar and then move to the main office. And I think there is a perceived idea that it will be better working in the main office, because obviously it's hard work working in a pub, and I'm not going to deny it. So everybody that, my daughter did hospitality, and it's difficult. When you've got to be nice to everybody all the time, it becomes quite a difficult job. And it's a thankless task. Some people are very rude. Some people go to pubs and just think they can treat the staff like awful. So you think it's going to be better. But actually there are quite a lot of pressures because of that in the back of the house, because you are considered like the backbone of that body. What you're doing, you have to make sure it's correct and right so that people in the pubs can work and do it well. So if you don't have beer that goes there on time, or you don't have food that's delivered on time, how are they going to do their job at the end to actually accommodate their customers? I think the problem with this country, and it is, we don't consider those to be careers. And I think that's something that Shepherd Neame is trying to change. What we're looking for is people to stay. So if it's a chef, we want them to stay. We want them to be the best they can and stay with Shepherd Neame. People often think like bar staff and waiting staff and kitchen staff are just seasonal. People do it as their students because it's an easy job and it sits with a student's life. But some people, want to make a career out of it. And if they do, we should be able to give them the avenues to do that.
Definitely.
And I think whether that's working in the pub state or actually coming to the main head office, they should be able to interchange. And I think possibly that as a whole industry, we have that disconnect. We have pubs that are run one way, and then you've got the head office that run the other.
Yeah.
And it's quite difficult to mix the two, because obviously when you're working front of house, it's completely different to working back of house.
Yeah.
So I think there's some work to do there. I will say that what I found, that when I passed my apprenticeship, in the year that I passed it, Shepherd Neame decided that they were going to have a graduation ceremony. And actually, of all the things that I've attended for Shepherd Neame, I think this is by far the best thing I've ever done. So what they did across the whole estate, anyone that had done any apprenticeship or any qualification was invited to afternoon tea.
Oh, nice.
And it was like a graduation ceremony. So you went up, you got a certificate, you got a bottle of champagne from Jonathan Neame, and then you got to sit on tables with people that you would never have spoken to if you hadn't. And I think actually that made everybody appreciate everybody else's. So you saw somebody that had got a level 3 hospitality work in front of house. So they'd obviously worked hard to get that qualification. Yeah. And then there are the ones that were back of house that done their qualifications. So you shared that experience. And I think that's more what we should do. We should have shared experiences. We all want end to have the customer happy. Whether it's us getting the beer into the pubs or the pubs serving the customer. But ultimately it's got to be that we work together. So I think we need a bit more joined up. And that's one of my main bones really with hospitality, that you have the back of the house that works hard, you have the front of the house, but each of you think, you're not connected, but you are.
Yeah, that's a lovely way of putting it. Thank you so much, Claire, for joining us, and good luck with your apprenticeship. Yeah. Hopefully it goes well.
Hopefully, yeah.
And thank you so much.
Thank you.